It's DeAndre Hunter at Atlanta Hawks. You listen to the three-point conversion.
Under the same umbrella. Start with you, Dijonai. February 5th is National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and you have certainly become one of the most popular faces in women's basketball. Just tell me how you feel, the pride you feel in your contribution to women's athletics around the world.
I mean, that's just kind of a part of taking on this role as of being a professional women's athlete. You naturally are just gonna have kids looking up to you, and you decide how you're gonna, take that and what example you're gonna be for them. So I think for me, it's just been one of authenticity. Whatever space I'm in, I'm always me, and I think that, young girls and kids watching that, they see that I'm me through and through, on and off the court. They see the personality shines through, and I hope that, that is something that they take into whatever they decide to do, to be able to be authentically themselves in every space.
And then Phil, for you, just you've been around the game obviously for a long time. You've seen the growth in women's basketball. Now being a part of it, can you talk about the energy and why it's been such a vibe? As we approach this special day to recognize girls and women in sports.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've kind of found from it is just for young athletes, right? They have hope. They have like a hope of just something bigger, greater, right? I think before a lot of young ladies were like, I want to play basketball, but what am I playing for? Now there's a legit hope for these ladies. Like, hey man, I have something to play for, whether it be the W, whether it be for Unrivaled, whether it be to be able to go play at a high level in Europe. I just think now women's sports, the window has just grown across the board. And so these young athletes, they have a lot more hope of just, I can make a living being a professional athlete in different sports.
Great, thank you.
There go Nikias.
Hi everyone. Hope you're doing well. First and foremost, quick one for you, Dijonai. Just a general, how are you feeling as you didn't get to play over the weekend?
I'm feeling okay, better each day. Just honestly taking it day by day and seeing how I feel after each set of treatments or workouts and trying to ramp back up.
Got you. And for Coach Handy, a couple for you if that's okay. One, just a general spacing question. It feels like a few teams, if you're running like a two-player action on the right side of the floor, that third player on the left is more on the wing instead of the corner. Is that something that you've picked up? And if so, what do you think what are the benefits of spacing on that opposite wing instead of that corner?
Yeah, look, I think everybody's trying to figure out the nuances of this 3-on-3 full court. Sometimes if the opposite player is in the corner, that's a longer run, right? Traditional basketball, you really want athletes to run to the corner so you can space the floor. 3-on-3, there's a lot more space. So sometimes if there's a two-man or two-woman action on one side of the floor, if that other player is buried in the corner and as shot goes up, it's a long run for them to get back on defense. So I just there's this little nuances that I think people are starting to pick up every week. The more games you play, you'll kind of figure out different strategies of just trying to help your team stay balanced from offense to defense.
Got you. And last one I had for you, I guess partially due to some of the injuries and absences. You've been experimenting with Stewie, Rakia, and Aaliyah Edwards on the floor together. Just what have you seen from that combination?
Yeah, look, just size. Three athletes that have a lot of size and mobility. And I think this game here is about being versatile as well, right? Can you change up the way you defend people? Can you change up how you attack people on offense? So having those three athletes on the floor just gives us a little bit more versatility, I think, on both sides of the ball, and then just them growing and developing relationships on the court together.
Got you. Thank you.
Here go Moreau Sports.
Hey, everybody. My question's for Dijonai. I wanted to know, obviously, you played with Alyssa Thomas since your rookie year in Connecticut, and she got traded. I wanted to know what are the biggest things that you've learned from her while playing with her?
AT. Yeah, I've learned a lot from her. And it's not just, conversations. Obviously, she's has a very, very high basketball IQ, and you learn a lot just from talking basketball with her. But I think one thing I really learned is just the effort that it takes to be great, and she plays hard every single possession. And that's just something that I picked up from even just watching her play before I got to Connecticut. It's just both sides of the ball. There's a lot of superstars that play hard on one side of the ball and, take a couple possessions off a game on the other side. And she's not one of those. And I would say that's the biggest thing I learned from her is just how hard you got to play and the effort that it takes to be great and to try to win at the highest level.
Thank you, Dijonai.
We will take one more. Jackie, you can close us out.
Thanks so much. Just a couple for Dijonai. Well, first to build off of that one, also it looks like Ty Harris is leaving as well. I'm just curious, what it was like for you to play with her and, the type of player that Phoenix is getting.
It was great playing with Ty. I think we have a very unique relationship because we were kind of that anchor of the second group 2 years ago. So you build a lot of chemistry, even whether it's practice or in games. So I think we were just in a lot together. And I think you saw that this year when we found ourselves in the starting lineup. I don't know. She's obviously a shooter. She shot over 50% from three. She's a natural point guard. And I think that that's kind of lost in this game a little bit right now is a true point guard who can get you in the right spots, who can facilitate, but also score. I think she's a pass first point guard, but she has the ability to really kill you in that mid range and just if you go under on screens and stuff like that. I think she's really skilled. So seeing her in a different system and being able to get into her bag a little bit is going to be fun because she's someone who really works on her game.
I appreciate that. And if I could just ask one more. When I spoke to Nafisa, I think during the preseason, I asked her just about, with the changing landscape of this country, obviously following the inauguration, I'm curious how maybe you all as players have discussed maybe ways to stand up for vulnerable communities that are sort of being impacted by what's been going on in the world. And if that hasn't been happening, is that something that you hope will happen in the near future just because there are so many players all in one place?
Absolutely. I definitely hope that happens soon. And obviously it's still pretty fresh, the changeover, but we see that some of the policies are already going into action. And of course that means that as the WNBA and being at the forefront of a lot of these movements, it's time for us to also take action. And I think it affects different teams in the W differently because of what city you're in or what state you're in, whatever it might be. So I think it'd be huge to just sit down and really have conversations with, teams like Dallas or teams like Indiana or, different teams like that have policies that might be different than a California or a Phoenix, Arizona. So it definitely needs to happen as women's rights being taken away like now and LGBTQ rights being taken away now. All those things need to happen for sure, but they haven't happened yet, but definitely in the works.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.